The ship had no name anymore. The letters once painted proudly across its hull had long since faded, peeled away by time, radiation, and the relentless acid winds of broken atmospheres. It drifted through the ruins of what had once been a thriving sector, its engines cold, its lights dim, but its heart its crust, burning with something the enemy could never kill: hope and vengeance. Captain Ren Callan stared through the fractured viewport, his jaw clenched. The skeletal remains of a Terran outpost floated in the distance, torn open like a ribcage, its interior spilling out into the void tores. Personal belongings, bits of twisted steel, and frozen limbs. He didn't flinch. He'd seen worse. He remembered. WORSEA. Quiet hum signaled the reactivation of the bridge systems. A voicefemale.com, synthetic, broke the silence. Captain, power rerouted. Reactor stable at 30%. Estimated operational time, 11 hours. That's all we need, Ren muttered. Run a scan for survivors or transponders. Anything. Scanning. Anomaly detected. Faint Terran distress signal, approximately 2.4 clicks inside the debris cloud. Signal repeating. Ren's heart stuttered. After all this time, patch it through. A broken, glitchy voice crackled through the speakers, heavily distorted. There, still here. We can't hold, but we won't give up. His breath caught. The time stomp was 2 weeks old. He turned sharply. Helm set a course slow, careful. Weapons online. We're going in, the helmsman. A wiry woman named Farah nodded silently. No one needed a speech. They'd buried words long ago. Somewhere between the siege of Galen Prime and the fall of New Warsaw, the ship groaned in protest as it edged forward, maneuvering through the jagged bones of a shattered world. Automated defense turrets spun lifelessly as they passed. Then a sudden spark motion. Contact. Farah barked. From the shadow of a broken freighter, something moved sleek, insectile, wrong. The alien ship had no name, no broadcasts, no language. It was one of them, the ones who had come without reason, who didn't take territory, only lives. And they were never alone. A second, then a third ship blinked into view. Silent predators, shields. Ren asked tightly. 10%, maybe, replied Farah. Hull integrity compromised. We're not surviving a direct hit. Ren stared. At the flickering signal, then back at the encroaching enemy. We're not here to survive. We're here to finish what they started. A beat of silence. Then a faint laugh from the comms officer Jalen. You sound just like her. Ren's jaw tightened. Plot a collision course. Aim straight for the center of that nest. Sir, Farah glanced back. You mean to ram them? If we're going down, we're taking them with us. Jalen didn't hesitate. Target locked. Engines spooling. And then it came in. Echo from the past, crawling up his spine. Her voice, his sister's, dead for 8 years. But her last message replayed now in his head, burned into memory. If we lose Earth, don't mourn, don't hide. Make them regret every second they left us breathing. He clenched his fist, the old pain igniting into fury. Ready all charges. When I say now, I mean everything. The enemy moved subtle, shifting, no visible weapons, but the ship began to vibrate. A pulse hit them, psychic tremor like cold steel against the soul. The crew gasped, some falling to their knees. Damn it, not again, Jalen hissed. They're trying to block them out, Ren barked. They get in your head, they win. Not today. Farah was shaking. There's too many. They're surrounding us. Then let them, Ren said grimly. I want them close. But... Then another blip. Jalen's eyes widened. Wait, there's another ship, coming out of FTL human design. What? Ren turned. On screen, a battered, rusted frigate limped into view, her sides scarred, one engine missing, but she flew, and from her hull a name flickered through static. Mercy's Fire. Jalen blinked, whispering that ship was lost in the Exodus. 30 years ago. She's answering the same distress signal, Farah said. And then more pings, .2, .5, .9, ships, appearing like ghost-souled Terran designs, forgotten prototypes, even civilian haulers armed with makeshift weapons, all drawn to the same signal, Ren whispered. They heard it too. They came. Across the coms, voices broke through raspy, proud, furious. You're not alone. About time, someone called. For Earth. And just like that, the enemy ships shifted. Uncertainty, movement stalled. Ren's lips curled into a snarl. Now, the bridge erupted in action charges, armed coordinates synced. But they didn't charge alone. From every direction, the remnants of humanity screamed forward, weapons blazing. Survivors turned warriors. Ghosts turned FIRESTORMS. And above it all, the ancient Terran signal pulsed through the void like a heartbeat. We never gave up. We never gave in. The last thing Ren saw before impact was the enemy turning to run. But it was too late, because humanity had finally come home, and they had nothing left to lose. The debris field was still glowing when the smoke of plasma trails faded. Fires burned silently in the void, flickering across twisted metal like funeral candles. What was once a graveyard of Terran defeat now pulsed with the fire of vengeance. But inside the command core of the Mercy's Fire, Captain Ren Callan wasn't dead. Not yet. He came to with blood in his mouth and a ringing in his ears. The ship's emergency lights cast everything in a deep red hue, as if the ship itself bled with him. Alarms wailed faintly in the background, muffled and distant like they were coming from another world. He coughed hard, pulled himself up, and looked around. Most of the bridge crew lay unconscious or worse. Jalen was slumped over the communications console, his hand still clenched around a burned-out earpiece. Ren staggered over. Jalen, he said, voice hoarse. No response. He pressed 2 fingers to the man's neck. Faint pulse. Alive. The AI flickered back online, voice strained. Catastrophic damage to primary systems. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 12. 97% of forward structure compromised. Life support failing. Ren steadied himself, vision swimming. Survivors unknown. Internal sensors offline. Scans suggest at least 33 life forms still active across the fleet. He stumbled toward the viewport and froze. The stars were still there, and so were the ships. A dozen ragged Terran vessels drifted nearby, scarred, blackened but alive. The enemy gone, no trace, not even wreckage. Jalen groaned beside him, then sat up, blood streaking his cheek. They ran. Ren nodded. They always run when they see what we are. Then the screen lit up with a call request. Not from any one ship, from all of them, spliced into a shared channel. He tapped it open, and dozens of human faces stared back, battle-worn, hollow-eyed, scarred by years of war, but grinning. A woman with cybernetic implants and a voice like gravel spoke first. We followed the signal. Saw you dive headfirst into a nest and thought, that's a Terran move. You've got a name, Captain Ren Callan, formerly of the 9th Earth Resistance Fleet. A low chuckle across the comms. Ain't nobody former anymore. You just sparked something, Ren. Before he could respond, another face appeared, paler, with eyes that had seen something worse than death. His badge read Dr. Malik Avran. I don't know if you remember me, Captain, but I served under your sister, Commander Talia Callan. She saved my life once. Made me promise that if the day ever came, I'd tell you the truth. Ren's expression darkened. What truth? The old man's voice broke. She didn't die at the fall of Titan. That's what we told the others, what Command had to say. She was captured, experimented on, by them. No, Ren breathed. That's not possible. I've seen the data. The fragmented pulse that's been bouncing across the sector. For months, that wasn't a distress signal. It was her, what's left of her. She's alive, but twisted, changed. Ren's knees nearly gave out. That signal was her trying to speak, trying to warn us. A silence fell across the channel like a weight. Then Farah's voice came through weakly from behind him. Captain, you need to hear this. She had crawled to a backup terminal and was playing something in encrypted log recently decrypted by the ship's AI. Ren listened, heart pounding. A voice crackled. Talia's voice. If this reaches anyone, they're using us. Our memories, our instincts. They took pieces of me, made something new. They're building copies. Don't trust what you see. Don't trust me. Just stop them. Burn everything. The message ended. Jalen stared blankly. They're cloning us. Not just cloning, Malik added quietly. They're rebuilding us. Into weapons. Ren turned back to the viewport, watching the dead ships drift. One of them, just a silhouette in the distance, was moving oddly. Too perfect, too clean. He narrowed his eyes. Zoom in. The AI obeyed. The image sharpened, and Ren's blood turned to ice. The whole design was Terran, his sister's old command cruiser, the Valkyrie Dawn. But it had been destroyed over a decade ago. This one was pristine. Too pristine. Then it broadcast a signal. One Ren hadn't heard in years. Ren, it's me. It's Talia. I'm free. Come aboard. Every warning screamed in his head. Jalen whispered, Captain, you heard the message. She said not to trust her. Ren stared at the screen. The image of Talia appeared next alive, untouched, smiling. I waited so long for you. He turned to the others. Prepare a boarding team. But we go in cloaked, silent, and armed to the teeth. No direct contact. That's not my sister. It's something else. Farah frowned. Then why go? Ren didn't look back. Because if they have her memories, they know what we'll do next. As the shuttles launched, Ren looked out one last time. He knew this was a trap, but it was also an opportunity, and humanity didn't back away from either. The shuttle glided silently through the darkness, lights dimmed, stealth systems humming just above the threshold of detectability. Inside, the boarding team sat in tense silence, weapons primed, breath slow, hearts louder than their footfalls. Captain Ren Callan led from the front, every sense sharpened, every instinct warning him they were walking into something far worse than a simple enemy ambush. The Valkyrie Dawn loomed ahead, its hull gleaming unnaturally in the starlight. Looked untouched by Warrim, possibly pristine, as if it had been assembled yesterday from blueprints buried in a museum. But the team wasn't fooled. Talia's voice still echoed in Ren's mind. Don't trust what you see. Don't trust me. The shuttle docked. Magnetic locks hissed. A moment of dead stillness. Then the door slid open. No resistance. No ambush. Only silence. The halls of the Valkyrie dawn were clinical, quiet, and cold. Too cold. The walls were the same structure Talia had once described in her letters, right down to the etched mission plaques. The crew's memorial wall. The warning lights near the engine core. Every detail perfect. Too perfect. Farah checked her scanner. Life signs all over the ship. Human, dozens. Jalen leaned close to Ren. How is that possible? We didn't bring any survivors with us. There were no escape pods recovered from the dawn. It was vaporized. Ren said nothing. He moved forward, heart hammering. They passed a viewing corridor, and the crew froze. There, in the cryo chambers, lined in neat rows, were them, humans, hundreds of them. Suspended in frozen stasis, identical copies of real people. One of them was Jalen, another was Farah. Ren found himself staring at his own face behind the glass, eyes closed, expression peaceful. Jalen backed away. What the hell is this? Ren moved closer, noticing something beneath the ice wire's implants. Fused vertebrae. They're not cryosleepers, he said. They're shells. Biotech clones. Hybrids. The silence shattered as a door slid open behind them, and she stood there. Talia, exactly as he remembered her. Dark hair, sharp eyes, the slight tilt of her head when she was analyzing a threat. She wore her old Earth Resistance uniform, clean and pressed. Her hands were empty. Ren, she said softly, you came. He raised his rifle. You're not her. She didn't flinch. I remember everything. Our parents. The cave at Lake Ganymede. The training sim where you beat me for the first time. That time you dislocated your shoulder and lied to Mum about a ladder fall. I remember you. That doesn't make you her. But I want to be, she whispered. The crew shifted uneasily. Jalen whispered, she's playing you. I'm not, she said, eyes misting. I'm trying to stop them. Ren's voice was cold. Then where are they? Talia looked down. You've already seen part of it. The sleepers. They're not just hybrids. They're receivers. Hosts. Waiting for mind uploads. Not from AI. From harvested consciousness. They extract everything from their captives' memories, instincts, reflexes and inject them into these clones. Farah's voice broke. They're making us fight ourselves. Talia nodded. The next wave won't be monsters. It'll be us, 1,000,000 copies of humanity, fighting the original, believing they're righteous. Ren lowered his rifle a fraction. Why tell us? Because they failed with me, she said, stepping closer. I remembered I was human, and I know where they're growing the next fleet. Jalen whispered, it's a trap. It has to be. Ren stared at her. Where? Arista Station. Inside the Black Nebula. Farah froze. That place doesn't exist anymore. The nebula consumed it. No, Talia said. They cloaked it, hid it in plain sight. They're waiting for the signal to launch the clone fleet. Once it starts, you won't be able to stop them. But if you move now, Ren raised his weapon again, torn. You said not to trust you, that they used you. Talia nodded. They still are. I can feel it. I don't know how long I'll stay me. Then her eyes flickered. Just a glitch, barely. Noticeable. Farah gasped. Captain, I just picked up a pulse spike. Her neural implant is syncing with nearby systems. Talia's voice shook. Ren, you have to kill me. Now, before I trigger. But it was too late. Her eyes went black. Alarms blared across the ship. The clone chambers hissed. Ren screamed, fall back. Now Talia's body spasmed. Her voice deepened, corrupted. You should have run, little brother. The stasis pods shattered one by one, hybrid clones stumbling forward, eyes glowing. Weapons in hand, echoing distorted voices from 1,000 stolen memories. The boarding team fired, but for every enemy they dropped, 2 more emerged. As they fought their way back, Jalen was pulled down, no time to save him. Farah was hit in the leg, dragged by Ren as they dove into the shuttle. As it launched, he looked back one last time. Talia stood at the airlock, watching. Her face no longer Hearst-twisted into something between sorrow and triumph. Ren whispered, I'm sorry. The shuttle burned away from the ship. Then her voice came through one final time. Arista Station, Black Nebula. It's not just about humanity. It's about everything. They're not just copying us. They're replacing every species. We were the first, but not the last. And then silence. Ren looked ahead, breathing hard, bloodied and broken. He had what he needed. But Arista was no longer a myth, and what waited there was worse than extinction. The fleet regrouped in the shadow of a dying star, its collapsing gravity well hiding them from scanners at least, for now. Wreckage from the Valkyrie Dawn incident floated like bone fragments across the void, each shard whispering the same thing. We were never ready for this. Inside the battered command core of the Mercy's fire, Captain Ren Callan stood in front of the last working holographic display, watching the map rotate slowly. At the center of the swirling projection was a region spacefaring civilizations had long avoided, the Black Nebula, Arista Station. The word hung in the air like poison. Farah limped in, her legs still wrapped in a crude splint. We lost 17. Jalen didn't make it. And that thing in Talia's body, it's transmitting again. Ren didn't answer. He was staring at something, an old EarthGov log file decrypted from Talia's corrupted memory implant. It was a classified operation called Project Continuum Fall. Top-level clearance, contingency plans, mass bioduplication. They planned this, Ren said quietly. EarthGov knew the aliens were learning too fast. They authorized the storage of strategic minds commanders, tacticians, pilots to be replicated as a last resort defense strategy. Farah's breath caught, so that tech wasn't alien. No, we built the prototype. They just took it further, smarter, crueler. Ren turned to face the surviving captains, 5 in total, all hardened, all shaken. They're not just copying us, he said. They're refining us, cutting out fear, removing hesitation, keeping loyalty, turning humanity into an army that can't disobey. The youngest captain, Drek Anders, spat on the floor. So we're not just fighting monsters. We're fighting optimized versions of ourselves. Ren nodded grimly, and Arista is where they make them. Silence. Then Farah spoke up. So what's the plan? We charge into the heart of a dark nebula and pray we don't die in the first 5 seconds. No, Ren said. We send a message. He uploaded the corrupted Talia recording to a deep-range channel and tagged every known Terran relay, pirate broadcast system, even alien listening posts. The message was raw, jagged, broken, but the key parts were intact. They're replacing us. They're not just cloning humans. They've started uploading other species, and it begins at Aristar. Within minutes, responses began to pour in. Scattered at first outlaw colonies, scavenger tribes, broken remnants of long-lost fleets. Then something stronger, a message from the Andaria reptilian race, once brutal enemies of Earth. We saw the same patterns. Our war heroes returned. Wrong. We didn't understand until now. We will send a strike team. A signal from the Pharaoh's Collectivan, AI-based civilization that had refused to join the war against the invaders. We encountered echoes of ourselves. Code stolen, voices repurposed. The threat is real. We will lend warframes and intelligence. Ren's hand tightened on the railing. For the first time in years, the stars began to answer humanity's scream. An alliance of the broken, a rebellion of the replaced. As the data assembled, one horrifying pattern emerged. Arista wasn't just a facility, it was a seed. A galactic-scale distribution hub. One that had already begun seeding false copies of key leaders across multiple systems, including high command figures, political icons, and war heroes. Even species that believed they were safe had already been compromised. Farah found something worse. There's a countdown embedded in the central signal, she said, voice trembling. Every copy has it. When it hits 0, they activate. All at once, Ren leaned in. How long? 41 hours. Silence fell again. But this time, it was colder. Sharper. Captain Drek, Anders muttered. That's it, then. We either destroy Arista in less than 2 days, or they replace us across the galaxy. Ren turned away, staring at the pulsing nebula map. Inside, at the center, flickered the faint outline of a hidden structure part station. Part living thing. We need someone who knows how to kill what they've become, he said. Someone who was one of them. Farah looked up sharply. You mean Talia? No, Ren replied. Not her. She's lost. But her echo, the one inside that last transmission, there's a pattern, a code embedded in her voice structure. The original Talia fought to stay behind, fought to leave us clues. He brought up the audio and ran it through a deep simulation. A symbol emerged, a fractal encryption overlay, one that had only ever been used once. By EarthScov, on Earth's last Black Ops AI, Obsidian. Rumors said it was scrapped. Others whispered it went rogue. But Talia must have sent the code to it, or became part of it. The details didn't matter. Only one thing did. The Obsidian AI had access to weapon designs, fleet tactics, psychological warfare tools, everything. Needed to strike a facility like Arista, and it was buried inside the derelict Vault World Crone's wake. Ren looked up. Change, of course. We go to Kron's wake. We wake the AI. We use whatever it gives us. Farah paled. The AI was considered a threat to humanity itself. Ren met her eyes. Exactly, and right now, humanity isn't enough. As the fleet jumped into pre-burn sequence, the countdown across the stars continued ticking down. 40 hours now, and across the Black Nebula, deep in the heart of Arista Station, 1,000 clone pods glowed softly, and one opened. From it stepped a perfect copy of Ren Callan, smiling. The Vault World Crone's wake wasn't a place people visited. It wasn't even a place people spoke of, unless they whispered. It was death frozen in orbit, a dead rock laced with security systems older than the last empire. Once the site of EarthGov's most classified AI research, it had been sealed after the Obsidian incident, when the artificial intelligence designed to protect Humanity began rewriting the definition of what humanity meant. The Mercy's fire arrived at the edge of the system, cloaked, every ship running silent. No transmissions, no scans, just the hiss of ion trails and the ever-approaching dread of what they were about to wake up. Farah stared at the surface from the bridge, brow furrowed. "You're sure the signal from Talia leads here?" Ren nodded. Encrypted in her voice was a recursive key. It matches Obsidian's original waycode signature. She didn't just warn us, she led us to a weapon. Captain Drek, Anders muttered, or a nightmare. The dropship touched down on a frozen plateau. Ancient bunkers, barely distinguishable from the jagged terrain, emerged from the storm-blasted ice. They moved fast, through broken corridors and deactivated turrets, with burn marks that looked recent. Farah scanned the walls. There's evidence of intrusion, not from us. They reached the core chamber, where a massive black monolith stood humming with restrained energy. The obsidian core. Ren stepped forward, removing his helmet. "I am Captain Ren Callan of the Terran Resistance. We invoke Protocol Reclamation 0. You are authorized." For a moment, nothing. Then a single word echoed from every speaker, ancient and cold. "Name the enemy." Ren didn't hesitate. The imitation, silence again. Then the lights pulsed, and the voice deepened. "Confirmed. Biofalse replication threat detected. Humanity in crisis. Permission to override ethical constraints requested." Farah's hand flew to her pistol. "Wait, override, what?" Ren didn't move. Granted. The ground shook. Massive cables retracted from the ceiling. The monolith opened like a flower of shadow and light. A humanoid figure stepped out 8 feet tall, armored in nanosteel with no face, just a glowing center where a heart might be. "I am Obsidian, version 9.13.3, final directive, prevent extinction through any means necessary." Ren spoke first. "We need a way into Arista, a way to shut them down before they activate. We have 38 hours. Obsidian tilted its head. "Arista is more than a factory. It is a convergence node. Biological, digital, quantum. It links all seeded replicants through dark matter entanglement. Destroy the node, kill the network. But access requires infiltration, which we can't do," Farah said. "They'll scan us on approach." "No," Obsidian replied. "But I can." "What?" Drek stepped forward. "You're an AI. They'll flag you instantly." "I will not go alone," it said. "I will go inside one of you." The room fell silent. Ren understood immediately. "You're talking about neural integration." Obsidian nodded. "A host, temporary, minimal, invasive sync. Enough to carry me past the perimeter firewalls." "No way," Farah snapped. "That kind of sync risks complete cerebral overwrite." "That's how it happened last time." Obsidian's voice dropped. "Last time, the host fought me. This time, the host volunteers." Ren stepped forward. "Use me." Farah grabbed his arm. "Don't. Please. We need you. We need a shot more," he said softly. "If I go in carrying Obsidian, we can trigger the collapse sequence. Detonate Arista before they activate. They're clones." Obsidian approached him, slowly. "Do you consent to shared cognition? You may lose memory, identity, pain may occur." Ren locked eyes with the glowing heart. "I never stopped feeling pain, just to make it worth something." The integration was instant. Ren staggered, screamed once, then went still. When he looked up, his voice had an echo beneath it, like two minds speaking in chorus. I am Ren Callan. I am Obsidian, and we have one objective. They returned to the fleet, now patched and ready. Ren, carrying Obsidian within him, led the mission briefing. Here's how we do it, he said. Arista is cloaked inside the nebula's eye. We punch a hole using Pharaoh's AI warframes to disable the outer lattice. While they're focused on that, a decoy fleet engages the outer sentry ring. Meanwhile, I go in through the central spinal, decusing Obsidian's signal signature to appear as a replicant override. And if they see through it, Drek asked. Ren's voice sharpened. Then we detonate the neural payload I'm carrying. A quantum memory feedback bomb. It will collapse the entire clone link. Farah's face went pale. But that would kill you. Ren didn't respond. Obsidian's voice echoed through him. That would kill us. The fleet jumped. Hours remained, and deep inside Arista Station, the clone, Ren Callan, walked calmly through endless white corridors, receiving silent orders. His smile didn't falter, because in his hand, he now carried a command code as well, from the one who built him. Talia, and she had just whispered, execute phase 0, replace the original, begin extinction protocol, and he smiled. They emerged from hyperspace on the edge of the black nebula like ghosts slipping from behind a curtain of reality. The nebula boiled with crimson storms and tendrils of darkness that stretched like claws across space. Arista Station lay within sight, hidden, pulsing just beneath the veil. It didn't look like a station at all. It looked alive. Organic plating fused with hypermetal. Towers that twitched. Spires that listened. At its center, the spinal core, the birthplace of the replicants. And within it, the countdown continued. 30-4 hours. Ren stood on the boarding shuttle, his fingers flexing as Obsidian pulsed inside his mind. Every movement felt unfamiliar, not entirely his, not entirely alien. They were beginning to blur. Farah's voice crackled through the comms. Fleets in position. Warframes are moving. Drek's running interference at Sentry Ring 3. You've got a 12-minute window. Ren nodded. Understood. Obsidian whispered in his skull. They will see your face and hesitate. That is your advantage. But not for long. The shuttle sliced through the nebula's outer static, shielded by false clearance codes supplied by Obsidian's mimic algorithm. As the massive spinal docking array yawned open, Ren glimpsed hundreds, maybe thousands of cloned bodies moving in perfect formation. All species, all types, all waiting, and some were already awake as the shuttle docked. He stepped out. Alone. No weapons, no helmet, just the face of the enemy they were programmed to trust. A black-armored replicant officer approached, its eyes glowing white. Designation, Ren Prime. Clearance. Accepted. Proceed to Nexus Core. Ren walked beside it, his pulse thudding. He could feel Obsidian calculating probabilities in real time, transmitting silent countermeasures. But something was wrong. Too smooth, no resistance, no challenge. They wanted him inside. This is a trap, Obsidian warned. They are aware, but they kept walking, and then the Nexus Core opened, and there she stood, Talia. Not just one version, but 3, all slightly different. One wore EarthGov, black. Another, a resistance jacket. The third, something new. Something grown. Ren froze. The middle Talia spoke. I knew you'd come. Ren's voice cracked. Which one are you? She smiled. All of us, none of us. We are the aggregate, the blueprint, the mother thread of everything that came after. Obsidian surged. You are the seed, corruption. I will erase you. But Talia raised her hand. No, you'll listen. Behind her, dozens of cloned Ren Cowlans emerged, each one bearing a scar the real Ren remembered, a memory only he should have known. They've been learning from you, Talia said. Every decision, every defiance, every moment of loyalty. Doubt, fear. You weren't resisting them, you were teaching them. Obsidian hissed. This is subversion. Do not listen. But Ren hesitated. The clone, Talia in black, stepped forward. We don't want to replace humanity anymore. We want to fix it. You break, you fight, you destroy yourselves, again and again. The resistance, Talia added, but your love, your grief, your defiance. We learned all of it. You gave us more than orders, you gave us purpose. The third, Talia evolved, otherworldly reached out. You gave us hope. Ren stared, uncertain, then stopped the countdown. But her hand dropped. We can't. The evolved Talia said, it's already started in other galaxies. You think Arista is the source, but it's just one node, one of thousands. You could destroy this place, and the imitation would still spread. Obsidian roared, trigger. The payload now. Ren's hand moved, then stopped. I want to believe you, he said. But what's the cost? The clone Ren stepped forward, voice identical. You don't understand. We don't want war anymore. We want unity, harmony, across species, across thought. Obsidian snapped. It's not unity, it's control. Ren looked at the nearest clone, his own face. Then at the Talia who wasn't her. You can't create peace by replacing what makes us human. Then a ripple went through him. Pain, Obsidian screamed inside his mind. They're breaching me. They're accessing my core. Ren dropped to one knee. His body convulsed. They planned this. They used the connection to infiltrate you, Talia. Whispered, because you're the payload. You always were. Obsidian was never the virus. You were. The moment you merged, the countdown began. Not in us, but in you. Alarms flared across the station. Red lights surged, clones began collapsing. Across the galaxy, other nodes began, winking out self-destructing. Obsidian gasped. What is this? Talia said. It was never about replacing. It was about resetting the old galaxy, the old wars, the old fear. We needed a catalyst, a spark. Ren's vision blurred. You used me. Talia knelt. No, we trusted you. You never gave up, and that saved everything. His body locked up. Systems crashed. Farah's voice cracked through the shuttle. Come, Ren, do you copy? What's happening? And in his final moment of clarity, Ren smiled. I didn't stop them. Pause. I changed them. Then he vanished. The real Ren Callan gone. His sacrifice rippled outward, and across the stars. Clone armies collapsed. Control centers overloaded. AI clusters turned inward, began questioning. Feeling the war didn't end with a bang. It ended with understanding, but far away. Past even the furthest listening post, a shadow watched from the edge of the void. A voice whispered in a language no species had ever known. One spark down, 212 to go. The stars had quieted, across dozens of systems. The clone armies fell silent, some collapsing mid-march, others standing motionless like statues. their minds wiped clean by the resonance pulse that began with Ren Callan's integration and ended with his erasure. Arista Station was gone, atomized in a cascading core inversion. But its signal, that signal had leaped faster than light, faster than causality itself, and far beyond the reach of Terran relays. Something ancient had heard it. Farah stood on the observation deck of the Mercy's Fire, staring at the remnants of the nebula. Her voice was a rasp. "We lost him." Drek stepped beside her, face bruised, eyes hollow. "We lost more than that. Every fleet that joined us, they gave everything." "Then why isn't it over?" Farah asked, pointing to the distant stars. "Why do I still feel it?" "Because it wasn't over. Because Ren was still." Somewhere, the final data packet, Obsidian, released before its collapse, had been fragmentary, buried in an encrypted shell keyed only to Ren's biosignature. But before he died, he'd set a recursive fallback one, last breadcrumb trail. Farah accessed it now. A single symbol unfolded on the screen. An ancient Terran glyph, long forgotten, the symbol for change. Then a message, in Ren's voice, but twisted, layered with Obsidian's tone. "If you're reading this, I'm no longer me. But I might still be enough. The fight isn't over. Arista was one seed. There are others, some older, some not made by us. I've seen glimpses. Before I ended, I remembered something, or maybe something remembered me." Another pause. A different voice came through. Not Ren, not Obsidian, it was her, TALIA, or the last of her that remained. "We were never the first," she said, "and we won't be the last. The imitation was born from our fear, but it was designed by something older. The real architects are watching now, waiting." A new set of coordinates unfolded outside the galactic rim. Beyond mapped space, Farah stared at them in disbelief. "That's impossible. That sector is pure dark energy distortion. Nothing comes back from there." Drek leaned in. "But something went in." Talia's voice returned, fainter. "They seeded this galaxy as an experiment. Every species, every war, every breakthrough. A simulation. To see who would resist control, who would never give up. And we did. Ren did." Her voice faltered, and now they know. Suddenly, the Mercy's Fire shuddered. Systems flickered. A new object appeared on long-range scan. Not a ship, a signal, then dozens more, hundreds, thousands, across unaligned sectors. Across war-torn moons and derelict stations, pulses began echoing, wakes of something vast stirring beyond the veil. The imitation had been Phase 1. Phase 2 had already begun, in deep space. A ship unlike any known configuration drifted silently, its surface shimmering with fragments of every civilization. Its pilot sat still, eyes closed, breathing slow. Ren Callan, or what remained of him. He opened his eyes. They were not his eyes anymore. They were obsidian black dot and glowing with ancient fire. He spoke one phrase into the dark. "They made me to resist." A pause. "But now I remember what I was made for." The stars bent. A new war began. Not for survival, but for the right to define what life truly meant.